Hello guys, what's up? It's Adam here, aka Just Seen a Guy, and I want to talk about the day I met the hardcore legend and WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley. What a day. I'll never forget it. I mean, for those people who have not met Mick Foley, can honestly straight away say that Mick Foley is definitely going to be one of the all-time greats. You know, well remembered for all sorts of things, including ECW and God, the Attitude Era. Who can forget the Attitude Era? I mean, the guy fucking went through hell every week just to entertain the fans and to make wrestling look as realistic as possible. You know, a realistic show. I mean, what the guy put himself through over the years is just fucking unreal. The amount of broken bones he's had, the amount of concussions he's had, the amount of broken noses he's had, losing an ear, you name it. Mick Foley's been through fucking hell. He's been through barbed wire, thumbtacks, explosions. And he's done all that just to put on a great show for the fans. And you can't help but respect a guy who just puts himself through that kind of shit, you know, just to entertain all of us, you know. And he's a well-deserved Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Well, anyway, this one year he was advertised to appear at the Birmingham NEC Arena in England, you know, signing autographs. And I've got to say, I'll never forget that day. Mick Foley's left me a day that I'll never fucking forget because I want to meet him. I wanted to meet him for all those reasons. And I've always loved Mick Foley, you know, who can ever forget him as Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love. And he's created so many WWE memories and moments, and he's made so much history. And he was advertised to appear to sign autographs. And me and my friend were like, we've got to go and meet Mick Foley. And we were that excited to meet him, we even left an hour early. You know, even though the NEC Arena was like a 25-minute drive from where I live, we wanted to arrive an hour early because we said to ourselves, no doubt the queue is going to be fucking massive to meet Mick Foley. So if we get there extra early, we'll be first in the queue and we'll be first to meet him. Well, that wasn't the case. We arrived an hour and a half early to the NEC Arena. And when we arrived, no other WWE fan arrived. But we could not believe who arrived first before everybody. Mick Foley. What wrestler fucking arrives an hour and a half early before the event to greet fans? The list is small because at that time wrestlers usually wrestlers turn up late to autograph signings. It's not their fault, but usually they turn up late because they're oversleeping or they've got schedule problems, transport problems, that kind of thing. Well, not Mick Foley. I mean, he didn't have to turn up an hour and a half early before the event. He could have stayed at his hotel. He could have had more rest. He could have had more sleep. But no, he turned up an hour and a half early to the event. And so did we, which means we were the only fans there. And Mick Foley was the only one there. So we had an hour and a half to do something before actually starting the autograph signing. I mean, we approached him first. And we was like, can we get the autograph signing along the way? And the security guard says, no, the autograph signing's not starting for like another hour and a half. So we had to do something for an hour and a half. And what did we do? We communicated with Mick Foley. Mick Foley had an hour and a half to kill. So we thought to ourselves, why not hang out with Mick Foley? And that's exactly what we did. For 1.5 hours before the signing, we hung out with Mick Foley. We just talked about wrestling, talked about WWE moments, you know, and he was such a humble guy. I mean, I've never met a WWE superstar so humble, so friendly, so talkative, you know, and so not only do we have respect for him for what he's done in the wrestling ring, but for the kind of guy he is also. I mean, there was a time where he actually went to the cafe, you know, in the little corner of the arena to grab a coffee. I brought him the coffee, I insisted. We actually went with him to the cafe. And we all had a coffee, all three of us, me, Mick Foley and my friend. And we all sat down at the coffee table and we just talked about wrestling. You know, and my friend brought this wrestling magazine with him because he had a picture in there that he wanted Mick Foley to sign. And just for an hour and a half, he was telling all these stories. Just these random stories about wrestling inside the magazine because he was looking through the magazine. And he was going, oh, yeah, I remember that day. That day took place in California, 1998. And he was telling all these stories. And he says, I had a really bad back after that match, you know. And then he talked about ring attires. And he was saying, oh, I've not seen those tights in a long time, you know. And he was just telling all these great stories about wrestling. And this was before the autograph signing, you know. And it was just an honour just sitting down with this legend and just talking. You know, and Mick Foley didn't have to do that. He could have had time on his own. He could have waited at his hotel before turning up to the event, but he didn't. He turned up an extra hour and a half early with me and my friend, and we just had this conversation for 1.5 hours. And it was great. The stories he told were just so interesting, and he was such a humble, down-to-earth guy. And when the autograph signing got underway, of course, we were the first ones there, so we were the first ones in the queue. You know, Mick Foley even said to me, when I posted him the photograph of him to sign, he even said to me, he says, would you like your name and message written on this? And I went, yeah. He says, what's your name? I said, Adam. And he put to Adam, and he says, what message would you like? And I was like, have a nice day, will do. So he put to Adam, have a nice day, Mick Foley. And then I said to him, can I have a selfie? And he goes, sure you can. And I didn't have to pay for it. Usually when you have a selfie with a WWE superstar, there's a charge. At least that's what it's been like when I've had to meet the likes of Undertaker and Lita and the Dudley Boys and, and all that. But with Mick Foley, we're free. I spent £15 for an autograph and he let me have a free selfie. I mean, what more can you say about that? I mean, he could have charged me an extra 15 quid or anything like that. But no, he didn't. I just said, can I have a photograph took with you? And he said, sure you can. And that was the photograph that we had together at the start of this review. So not only was it great just hanging out with Mick Foley, but it was great getting an autograph from him. He even said, he says, would you like a message written on this? He didn't have to do that. He could have just scribbled his signature on the poster and then moved me along. He didn't. He took his time. He made sure me and my friend got our money's worth. And Mick Foley wanted to be there. He wanted to greet the fans. He wanted to be there to meet the fans. He was just one of those people that was willing and honoredly just wanted to meet everybody. And I've got no complaints. I mean, 5 stars out of 5 for meeting the hardcore legend Mick Foley. I mean, you'll notice in some of my reviews that I'm going to be uploading, I've got some sort of rant or some sort of problem. Even when I met The Undertaker, there was problems, But when I met Mick Foley, there was no problems. There was no awkwardness with the security. There was no time wasting. There was no overwaiting, And the show was so organised. It wasn't so strict like some of the other events I've been to. So I've got no complaints at all about meeting Mick Foley. That's definitely going to be one of the best days. One of my favourite days of meeting the superstar Mick Foley. So if any of you out there who are meeting Mick Foley in the future, or you're getting ready to meet him, please do note, don't be annoyed if you have to wait a long time in the queue, because Mick Foley is simply taking his time with all the fans. He's making sure he's getting all their money's worth. He's communicating, and he's making sure everybody, gets what they came to see, basically. So don't be annoyed if you have to wait in a long queue. It's all well worth it when it gets to your turn, and, if you're going to meet him, that's great. You won't be disappointed. And I definitely will meet Mick Foley again in the near future, for another autograph, because he's just such an honour to meet. And that's what I've got to say, everybody. Have you got any experiences you want to share? Anything you want to say? Leave it in the comments below. And hopefully we can get a conversation going about this. Mick Foley, great Hall of Famer, well deserved. Thanks, everyone, for watching this. Peace out.